Today we're going to be doing some end of summer beauty and lifestyle favorites. I really want to get back to doing monthly favorites videos on YouTube. More realistically, it would probably be every 2 months, but I looked back and it had been so long since I had done any kind of monthly favorites. I've been consistent with annual favorites videos every single year since I started YouTube. And there was a period of time where I was doing monthly favorites videos every single month without fail. I'd like to get back to that. And I know that these videos are always popular. I like to watch them. So I have a little bit of skincare, quite a bit of makeup. I mean, quite a bit. I did try and edit it down, but makeup is the biggest category. I also have a few miscellaneous beauty things, and then some lifestyle and media. I'll make sure to list and link everything down below, all additional information about how you can find me, how you can join me on Patreon, where I do lots of exclusive work. In fact, next week's video is going to be another Patreon exclusive. I'm doing a skincare declutter and crit. I have done these before, if you're not familiar with my rubric for how I categorize and review products. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I'll probably do a trailer. Again, for YouTube, I'm trying to do that more so you guys know all the additional work that I do over on Patreon. And yeah, just all the places you can find me, website, Instagram, Pinterest, yada yada. Let's get started with talking about some skincare. First thing is the Vapour Yuzu Vitamin C Serum. I picked up the Traveler set of Vapour products. It's like their little discovery set. I forget what it's called, maybe the Genesis, Mini Genesis, something of that ilk. I bought it some months ago, so I've been testing this for a good 3 to 4 months. I mean, it's little. I've been rotating it in with other things, and I like to use this in the evening. It's kind of a whole food vitamin C type of oil serum. It doesn't have any synthetic vitamin C in it. The vitamin C is coming from yuzu extract. It's got a tiny ingredient list. I am yuzu obsessed, which I've been talking about for the last, I don't know, 8-9 months probably. So this is really concentrated. You need like maybe 3 to 4 drops. I'll do it just with toner. That's the only step I need. You could put a little bit of balm, or if you use a cream, you could put a cream over top. It's going to, over time, provide that gentle, subtle brightening effect to the complexion. Something similar would be Earthwise Ambrosia Ducerato, similar type of concept. And I love it. Just the scent of it, everything about it makes my heart really happy. I'm probably not the only person to put this in favorites. This has become a bit of the physical sunscreen darling of the natural beauty world. It's the relatively recent release from Le Prunier, their SPF 31 Plum Screen. I got to try this through the Beauty Heroes limited edition box, which came with the oil that they also do. I admit that I was skeptical just because it had so much hype around it, and I'm kind of not super impressed with the oil. I think it's fine, but I'm not nuts about it the way a lot of people are. But I really have been quite pleasantly surprised with how great this product is. It's really easy to use, and what makes it so great is that it's a very different finish than a lot of the Eco SPFs. This dries down to a matte finish, no white cast, despite what I've heard some people are trying to say about it. My mom came to visit last month or 2 months ago. I let her use this when she was here. She loved it. I went on to buy her a tube, and she's now using it and enjoying it. I took this on our little end of summer family vacation to Florida. And everyone used it. Cobb used it on his face. We used Pipette on the body, but this was the facial sunscreen, and everybody gets on with it, and no one got burned. I think it's a nice product. It is a bit expensive at first glance, but when you break it down per ounce, there's 2 fluid ounces in here. Per ounce, it's actually still not, it's on the upper end of price point of eco sunscreens, but there are still more expensive ones. And I would say it's comparable to, you know, Blissoma Photonic or La Par Day Silk. They're kind of all in the same ballpark. Okay, last in skincare is not a product, but more of a modality. So I forget how long it's been, at least a year. I have been interested in trying face taping, facial aesthetic taping, I guess it's called. So maybe you've seen or been getting targeted with ads on Instagram for frownies. I don't really know exactly what those are, what the material's made of, but it's a kind of a similar concept on the surface. You have some sort of sticky material that you put on the face to help with wrinkles, ostensibly. Now, facial aesthetic taping is a little bit different. It's done with a particular kind of kinesiology tape, which is something chiropractors use, physical therapists use it, people in sports medicine use it a lot. I have had kinesiology tape applied to my body by different practitioners over the years. So, but the concept of doing it on the face was new to me, and I saw Donna Omari from Noise Skincare talking about it a year ago, probably. And I finally decided to buy a couple rolls and start playing around with it myself. I got these rolls from Kosas Spa's website, but Noise Skincare also sells it. And the different prints are supposed to be slightly, like this one is recommended for normal to dry skin, and this fun leopard print is supposed to be more for oily skin. I haven't noticed much of a difference, but I'm very new into trying this. I pre-cut little pieces, and so far I've really only played around with the heart placement, which is to help with 11 lines or, you know, this kind of area. And the cool thing about it is that kinesiology tape is healing to the body, and that it's helping promote circulation and proper lymph flow. So you can get really elaborate with it. There's courses out there. You can start taping the neck to help with lymph drainage, and just there's so much you can do. I know that Noise Skincare offers a course. It's almost $300, so it's expensive. And so I'm just kind of watching free resources for now and playing around with very simple placements. But it's easy to use, and I have been seeing good results, and it just feels good on the skin too. Like at the end of a long day, doing that placement right there is very relaxing. So I'm enjoying it. Okay, let's move on to makeup, my favorite category. This has been the year of makeup for me because I am just not into skincare at the moment. Skincare is not interesting to me. I have my products that I like. My skin is in good shape. I don't see a need to mess with anything crazy right now. So makeup has really been where I've been getting my beauty fix this year, and I've been having so much fun. I'm actually on a 3-month no-buy. Before I went on my no-buy, before my no-buy started on August 1st, I kind of went on a little bit of a spree and picked up stuff to kind of carry me through the no-buy. Because I do live Get Ready With Me's every week on Patreon, I like to have new things to kind of inject here and there. And by far, my favorite, God, it's like, where do I even find the words to talk about the love affair that I'm having with this brand? It's definitely the makeup discovery of the year for me. I can say that hands down, and the year is not, it's half over, right? And it's not a new brand. They've been on the scene for a good 4 years now, maybe even 5. And the brand is Anasi 7. I'm sure many of you, probably all of you already know, have tried this brand, but I have a whole little stash. I have placed 2 orders directly with Anasi's Stockholm-based website, so that's where they ship all the products from. However, I did want to point out that Boxwala is a stockist of Anasi, which I didn't know, so I'll include some links down below. And I think she carries all the stuff that I currently have. She carries almost the entire brand, but some of the all over colors I don't think she has. So I need to do some sort of standalone, you know, in-depth review, full face of Anasi 7. But I've been loving this shadow quad. I've been using it in my brows and as eyeshadow. I love the mascara. I have several of the eye colors. I have, I just want to keep adding to my collection. So I could really sit here and gush all day about them. It's the only thing I want to put on my face. I have never encountered a makeup brand that makes me feel and look so alive. And it's been really instructive for me because I've been trying phytosurgeons, for example. And I talk about all this every week live. So if you're really interested in more makeup content, and as it's unfolding, every week I get together with a really amazing community of women who have been there for years. So we kind of all get to know each other. But I've been trying the phytosurgeons products and talking with some of the women there in DMs, and deducing that, you know, drier formulas like the phytosurgeons and very sort of grungy makeup, which is on trend right now, it's just not my aesthetic. And I feel like it's quite deadening on a lot of people. And maybe if you're younger, right, like you don't mind that kind of deadening, muted, dry look. But I don't know, like I've just always been obsessed with this effortless, juicy, healthy, plump, glowy, alive looking type of complexion. That's the kind of makeup that I like. And Manasi is it. It's it for me. KRWMs is close, but KRWMs has much drier formulas. I almost feel like Manasi 7 is the at most elevated version of what RMS was originally. RMS is not a brand that I shop from anymore. They went extremely corporate, and I'm just not interested at all. I love that Manasi is an independent brand. I love that I just love the ethos of the founder. They use these really high quality organic ingredients. It's kind of like organic, sustainable, slow beauty encapsulated in these beautiful pots. So more to come. Definitely the favorite of this entire video. Other makeup to tell you about. Okay, Salt New York, I did want to mention. I've done some content here and there on them. Also really fun brand. My favorites would be the Sneaky Balm and the Color Pan in Coral. I have a whole large palette as well with some other pans of color, some highlights, some adjusters, but these two are really my favorites. I like the Sneaky Balm a lot. I find it really quick and easy to use. I have N11 for all over and N12 for under my eyes. I reach for it a lot because it's so quick and easy. I apply it with my fingers and then I buff it in with a Gressa foundation brush. And it's wonderful. I love a coral shade for summertime on lips and cheeks. It's kind of, I'm always looking for RMS Sacred type of shade. And this is really close on me. I like to pair it with like, I don't know where oh yeah, a red lip liner. This is the Fit Glow red lip liner to kind of amp up the color and the lasting power on the lips. And it's sheer enough to do on the cheeks. And these are really pigmented and they last a long time. The nice thing about Salt is that they're affordable. The pans of product are only $16. They are a favorite and I reach for them constantly. Latest, or one of the latest additions to my KRWMs collection is a blush pan in Inner Glow. Looks like nothing in this pan, right? But this is kind of the spring summer version of Abundance, which is a shade that I had used for years. It's kind of a deep plummy mauve, but really good on people who have problems with blush colors oxidizing on them, which I do. I feel like everything kind of starts to look the same, or orange will come out in products on me really easily. This is a really nice kind of one and done product. So I don't need to use highlight on top of it. It's just quick, it's easy, it makes you look really fresh, and such a good spring and summer product. I realize we're now going into fall and winter. So the fall and winter equivalent, in my opinion, would be Abundance. And they're really good for people that want to have, you know, kind of a sculpted, refined, lit from within type of look. Abundance, not really lit from within. Inner Glow, lit from within for sure. So if I only had to pick two KRWMs blushes to have, it would be Abundance and Inner Glow. I've been reaching for this all summer and I absolutely love it. It's the Vapour bronzing powder in Eclipse. I just find myself reaching for this more than any of my cream products, I guess because my bases are generally pretty glowy and dewy, and so I like to powder it down, I guess. I do have the Manasi blush. They have a blush duo called Cinnabar Mocha, I think. That's on my wish list. I will definitely be getting that at some point. But I really like this. Vapour Beauty is really like the only original brand that's gone corporate that I still like and feel a pull towards. I also have the, let's see if I can find it quickly, the little highlight stick, and I like this too. So, but the bronzer is really the favorite. They've come out with a darker color as well, but I find this nice. I'm wearing it today. I put it on most days. I feel like it just gives me a nice amount of color. On the verge of maybe being a little orange, but it works and I love it. It's a very fine powder and I feel like it applies really nicely. It doesn't streak or anything weird like that. Last makeup favorite, yes, is the Gressa Eye Tint in Butter Rum. I think this might be my favorite Gressa eye tint. For a long time, I thought it was Roasted, but Roasted lately has just been seeming a little bit too cool on me, and I've had to mix it with other shades to get something that I like. But this is, I think, a total year-round type of staple product, but especially good for transitioning into fall. It's just such an easy one and done look. It's matte. These are exceptional eye products, the Gressa eye tints. They're by far my favorite thing that she does in her brand. And they really stand out from pretty much every other eye product that I've tried in Eco Beauty in terms of their resistance to creasing. I mean, sometimes they will, but they're just so long wearing. The pigments are wonderful. I think they're exceptional. I have quite a collection of them and reach for them a lot, but Butter Rum has been my favorite. Okay, now I have a few miscellaneous beauty things to talk about before we get into lifestyle. Since it is the end of summer, we can talk about a deodorant. That's been my favorite deodorant all summer, the Ingredients Deodorant Spray. I think this is really good. To be honest, there's nothing from Ingredients that I've tried and have not liked. Everything has been wonderful. I used the nasal spray. I liked the body oil. I forget what else was in that Beauty Heroes box from last summer, maybe. And I just think this is a good product. The aerosol, maybe I've even talked about this somewhere else or in a podcast. The spray, I guess, kind of reminds me of aerosol deodorant sprays from the 80s and 90s, which I feel like were a thing back then. But yeah, it just has a really light lavender scent. It's effective. I don't use it. I use it every other day, probably. The only thing is you don't want to spray it probably right after you've shaved your armpits, because that alcohol will make it a little bit stingy, but that's really the only thing. So I really recommend this. I was also curious about the Musique spray deodorant, but I have since heard from people that it's maybe a pass. So I'm happy to stick with this. And then I have two products from one of my favorite brand discoveries this year, Shen Blossom, or I may have discovered them late in 2021, but I collect things here and there when they're doing sales. These are just really high quality TCM influenced herbal supplement types of products. The tooth cleanser and the protect throat sprays there's three of these. I pulled to the turmeric one because I think it's probably the easiest one to start with. This is so nice as part of a morning routine after you have done, a neti pot or a nasal cleanse, like with the ingredient spray, which I love to do, brush your teeth, do your skincare. I like to do a couple sprays of this. I don't know, it's just like a quick way to get a little bit of herbal supplementation. Some of the mint formula really works up into the sinuses. Each of the three have kind of different properties in terms of where the herbs move in the body and interact with your meridians and the chi flow and all of that. So I have all three and I kind of rotate them in and out. They're good in acute illness as well. So if you have like a throat bug or something, cough, they're good, but I just like them for maintenance as well. The tooth cleanser is, probably my favorite Shen Blossom product that I've tried. They have a whole tooth care system. I like this because it doesn't there's nothing synthetic in it. So I don't think there's any hydroxyapatite, but unfortunately, like a lot of the hydroxyapatite toothpastes are all nano, AKA synthetic hydroxyapatite. I also alternate this with Wellness toothpaste, which is a glycerin-free natural hydroxyapatite toothpaste, which I love. I used to use Risewell, but I think they also switched their hydroxyapatite to be the synthetic nano version, which I'm not really that into, honestly. So this is just nothing has ever left my teeth feeling cleaner and my mouth just feeling its best than this powder. You take a little bit out into your palm, wet your toothbrush and scoop it, and then you just brush normally. They also do a tooth polish, which is more of like a bamboo activated charcoal type of product. I don't like the taste of that one as much. I don't find myself reaching for it. I do have it, but you're only supposed to do that one maybe once or twice a week, and this is more like your daily care. So I like to have the Wellness for when I'm too tired to deal with a powder. It can be too much of a faff, right? But yeah, I absolutely love this stuff. It's so good. Lifestyle, I wanted to mention Pearl Powder because it's one of the few supplements I'm still taking. Topic for other places or dedicated other place, but I've been in a bit of a plateau with health related stuff, complicated because I'm postpartum, 10 months postpartum at this point. I've gone through lots of hormonal shifts over the last 10 months. It's been a big roller coaster. But one of the few things I'm still taking, I'm focused on minerals right now, which I've been mentioning: copper, zinc, iodine, sulfur, boron, that kind of thing. But pearl powder is great. It's a wonderful source of selenium. And the thing that I actually have noticed taking it is that my nails are incredibly strong. They grow quickly, and when they grow out, they're just strong. They're like thick and just in really good shape, and I do attribute that to the pearl powder. This is actually an empty, the Crucial 4 M balance. This is a vibration extracted pearl powder. I would do, you know, quarter to half a teaspoon in coffee in the mornings. And then I also have the Forever Healthy Hair pearl powder. So this one I've been using topically, but you can take this one internally as well. This is basically the least processed form of pearl powder. So this one is a little bit more processed, but this one is basically just pulverized pearls, freshwater pearls, I think. But this I also like to apply some evenings. I have this Air Perez Kabuki brush that I got during a Pharmaca sale recently, and I love it. It's so pretty. Air Perez is actually one of the brands that I want to do like a full face brand review of after my no buy in the fall. So they're on my shopping list because I've never really tried. I was impressed with some of the Air Perez makeup that I tried, but I want to do a more extended deep dive into them. But yeah, this is having a kabuki with the pearl powder and then applying that before bed. Really nice, helps with pore size, just overall skin refinement. I don't do it that often just because I'm too tired, honestly, but it's a nice option to have. But taking it internally, I'm going to continue to do because I love it. And the other thing that I am still taking is Sheila G. I really still like the Mitolife Panacea pressed Sheila G resin tablets because they're just easy. I have the Tonic Treasures North American Sheila G. This is a Himalayan Sheila G, and I really don't like the taste of the tincture. Maybe it'll grow on me, but I don't like it in coffee. I would really just have to make almost like a little tea out of it, and I'm just not the biggest fan of the taste. So these are easier for me to take. I'm not taking it every day. I would say maybe three, maybe 4 days a week. I'm taking 3 to 5 tablets, which is up to 1 gram. I did a whole podcast episode on a neophyte's guide to Sheila G. This is just it's essentially a multi-mineral supplement. Has a long history in Ayurveda, and I felt like I got really amazing postpartum remineralization and blood building benefits from it. I've been going through other stuff, so I kind of took a break and pulse dosed it, but I still find myself reaching for it. So the pearl powder and the Sheila G, I still think have a place in my routine. I always have a 15% off discount code for Mitolife. I think it's just Lamour, Lamour. Every time you order, you can use that for a discount. And I think Panacea is now regularly back in stock. For a while, they had been having problems importing it from Russia for obvious reasons, but I do think that that has been resolved. So I do really like this stuff. Last kind of lifestyle thing to mention, and then this bleeds into the media favorites, and then we'll close out. This is the cell salt kit from realimmunity.org, which is where I get a lot of my homeopathic remedies. And this has more in it than just the cell salts. I have like some loose other remedies in here, but there's 12 cell salts. They're right here. And I think they do the combination 5-phos cell salt as well. I'm so attracted to cell salts. They get mistaken, I think, for homeopathy, but they're different. They're often described as the homeopathic vitamins or minerals. I just listened to a really good podcast that, if you're interested in cell salts, really easy to listen to history of them and how useful they are. In fact, there's practitioners that just specialize in treating people with cell salts, and you can treat acute illnesses with them. They have so many applications, and I don't know, I'm so fascinated with homeopathy. I use it at home with my kids. I'm doing homeoprophylaxis courses with them, which is something kind of parallel to treating acutely with homeopathy. And then cell salts, I actually am still taking a combination of cell salts for my tendinitis, thumb and wrist tendinitis. And yeah, so the podcast is, let me look it up. It's a podcast, a homeopathy podcast that I just discovered. I think it's called Homeopathy Hangout. Oh, another favorite might be that I started listening to my podcasts on Pocket Casts because I was so fed up with Apple Podcasts. Horrible, horrible platform. It was like, that's a disappointing product. It's just so bad. But yeah, Pocket Casts. Homeopathy Hangout with Eugenie Kruger, who I believe is Australian. And the episode that I just finished listening to is episode 34, Cell Salts and Tissue Salts with homeopath Karen Allen. I'll put a link down below. Just such a good listen, all about the history. She's a really engaging teacher and I think well-known person in the homeopathy community. So yeah, I wanted to recommend that. And then we'll end with one more media favorite, really good podcast I listened to recently on the Sacred Resistance podcast. Matt, the person behind Cultivate Elevate, who I talked about in a recent podcast episode I did for Patreon as one of the people on social media that I still follow and like to listen to. And I think he shares really good information, and I keep meaning to place an order with Cultivate Elevate for powdered medicinal mushrooms, and they sell a pearl powder as well that I would like to try. So it's episode 42, Matt from Cultivate Elevate, Electroculture, Gardening, and More. Fascinating episode full of so much interesting information about how to, you know, really revolutionize your home gardening with all kinds of like copper wires, copper gardening tools, creating pyramids and vortexes and using magnetism. It's the whole field of this type of gardening is called electroculture. And a lot of the knowledge around it, surprise, surprise, has been suppressed. But a lot of this stuff was popular 100, 200, 300 years ago, and it's sort of a lost knowledge and a lost art. But fascinating, and Matt is really, really educated on these topics. He has a lot of really good book recommendations, and yeah, highly recommend. So I'll put the link for this episode down below as well. I think that's gonna do it for today's end of summer beauty favorites. I hope that something piqued your interest here. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. If you have product recommendations or things you'd like me to pick up and test after my no-buy is done. November 1 is when my no-buy is done. But yeah, I think that that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for being here. Please make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss my weekly videos. I'm really trying to reinvest in YouTube, and I just would love to hear from you, and I'll look forward to seeing you guys next week. Bye.